Shang-Chi is on the verge of becoming the next great Marvel movie hero, but his comic book history spans almost 50 years. But who are the friendly faces who have popped up to aid the master of Kung Fu in his many battles? These are Shang-Chi's biggest allies. When the Kung Fu craze hit the United States in the early 1970s, Marvel capitalized on the trend by purchasing the comic book rights to Sax Rohmer's character, Fu Manchu, and his cast of supporting characters. Marvel chose to create an original character to lead the series, and Shang-Chi was born. Established as the son of Fu Manchu, Shang-Chi was trained in the art of Kung Fu for his entire life, unaware of his father's villainy, until he sent his son to assassinate an MI6 agent named Dr. James Petrie in 1973's Special Marvel Edition number 15. During Shang-Chi's mission, Sir Denis Nayland Smith confronted the young martial artist and exposed the truth, that Shang-Chi's father was evil. As a genuinely good man, Shang-Chi joined Smith and the rest of MI6 in the war against his father. Sir Denis Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie were both supporting characters in Sax Rohmer's deeply problematic and racist Fu Manchu novels. A xenophobic caricature, Fu Manchu was the quintessential personification of Yellow Peril, the racist American fear that immigrants of Asian descent would eventually erase white culture in the US. In the novels, this was the villain's goal, and Denis Smith was the white protagonist who fought him. Marvel eventually lost the rights to Rohmer's creation, and likely due to the deeply racist nature of Rohmer's series, they haven't attempted to get them back. Thus, Fu Manchu was renamed Zhengzhou, and Denis has simply been referred to as Smith ever since. Shang-Chi's journey through the ranks of MI6 was not a simple one. After Smith revealed his father's true nature, Shang-Chi visited his mother in America to find out if it was all true. After his mother confirmed the news, Shang-Chi broke into his father's New York City compound and declared that he would not stop until he had ended his father's dreams of conquest. Shang-Chi wouldn't encounter MI6 again until Sir Denis Nayland Smith decided to send one of his best agents, Jack Tarr, to apprehend the young martial arts master in Master of Kung Fu number 17. Nicknamed Black Jack, Tarr was a veteran of the British Army when he was recruited by MI6 to serve in Hong Kong, and later joined Smith's fight against his archenemy. With years of experience and a wealth of combat training under his belt, Tarr was a natural choice for Smith's team. Though the pair fought when they first met, Tarr and the young martial arts master would soon develop a solid friendship, as Blackjack proved himself to be one of Shang-Chi's most trusted allies. Of the many MI6 agents that Shang-Chi worked with during the war against his father's criminal empire, Sir Clive Reston proved to be one of the most dependable. Introduced in giant-size Master of Kung Fu number 3, Reston would aid the young martial artist for many years. After they finally finished dismantling Zhengzhou's attempts to conquer the world, the pair worked together to form Freelance Restorations in Master of Kung Fu number 95, a private security firm established to combat rampant corruption within the intelligence agency they once served. Though rights-related issues kept the creators from saying so outright, the all-new official handbook of the Marvel Universe makes it clear that Reston was the descendant of two of the United Kingdom's most famous fictional characters, Uber spy James Bond and master detective Sherlock Holmes. The writers implied that 007 was Reston's father, from whom Clive inherited a love of terrible puns.
Don't say it.
The writing's on the wall?
Mr. Holmes, on the other hand, was supposedly his great-uncle and the chief reason why Reston enjoyed smoking pipes. Clive Reston and Shang-Chi's work at MI6 would soon be disrupted by the introduction of their fellow agent Leiko Wu in 1975's Master of Kung Fu number 33. Reston and Wu used to be lovers before Leiko left Clive for another agent named Simon Bretner, who was secretly a double agent codenamed Mordillo. Leiko discovered his treachery and helped MI6 defeat Bretner, whose loosening grip on sanity led him to adopt the name Death Hand. After returning to MI6, Leiko began working directly alongside both Reston and Shang-Chi, an assignment that soon produced a great deal of tension as Leiko and the young martial artist began to fall in love. After MI6 finally defeated Shang-Chi's villainous father, however, the young martial artist decided to leave the agency and retire to the quiet life of a fisherman. Unwilling to leave her role as a spy, Wu stayed behind, and the couple broke up. In the years that followed, Leiko and Reston would eventually rekindle their old romance and finally marry. Early in his crime-fighting career, Shang-Chi met another enemy he would befriend years later. Introduced in Master of Kung Fu number 61, Chow Sima was a triad assassin who earned the nickname Skull Crusher thanks to his deadly use of his signature weapons, steel balls bound to his wrists via long chains. Hired to kill Shang-Chi, the pair would battle multiple times during the Master of Kung Fu series, with Shang-Chi always emerging the victor. Their relationship radically changed years later in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, however, when Shang-Chi discovered that Chow Sima and Leiko Wu had fallen in love. After leaving her estranged husband, Reston, Leiko was deployed by MI6 as an undercover agent in Skull Crusher's Triad clan. Wu worked closely with Sima and inspired a change of heart within him. Unfortunately, the couple's love proved short-lived as Leiko was eventually discovered and killed by the White Dragon. Vowing revenge, Skull Crusher asked Shang-Chi for help, knowing of the hero's love for Leiko. Although initially distrustful, Shang-Chi eventually agreed to help the former villain confront and defeat the White Dragon. In a bizarre series of events, however, Skull Crusher ultimately sacrificed both himself and the White Dragon in a ritual that resurrected Leiko Wu, allowing him one last kiss from his beloved before he departed for the afterlife.
Hey everyone.
Throughout his career, Shang-Chi has worked with many of Marvel's heroes, but perhaps his single greatest superheroic friendship lies with none other than Spider-Man himself. The two heroes first met in 1974's Giant-Size Spider-Man number 2, when Shang-Chi's father tricks the two crime fighters into a deadly battle. Both convinced that the other is a murderous villain, the heroes fought to a standstill until Spider-Man finally realized they've been duped. United at last, the pair teamed up to stop Zhu and send the villain packing once again. This adventure was but the first of many meetings between the two heroes, kicking off a friendship that continues to this day. During the Daredevil-focused Shadowlands event, Shang-Chi helped Peter keep Mr. Negative from expanding his criminal empire. Later, during 2011's Spider Island event, a virus began granting people across Manhattan the same powers and abilities of Spider-Man, including Shang-Chi. At one point in the storyline, Spider-Man was robbed of his sixth sense, meaning his fighting abilities took a drastic turn for the worse. Luckily, as early as Amazing Spider-Man number 666, Shang-Chi had been training his old friend in the way of martial arts. Working together, the two heroes had developed a new fighting style they called the Way of the Spider, which later helped Peter to regain his spider sense for good. Subsequently, in Amazing Spider-Man number 672, Peter released a device that destroyed the spider sense of every infected person on the island. Trained for a decade in the mythical city of Kunlun, Danny Rand seized the heart of a dragon to become the immortal Iron Fist. Illegally experimented on by a mad scientist while imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, Carl Lucas used his newfound super strength and unbreakable skin to reinvent himself as Luke Cage. Together, they are the Heroes for Hire, one of the only superpowered private detective agencies in the world. As Marvel's two premier martial arts heroes, it's no surprise that Shang-Chi is often paired up with Iron Fist. The two first met in 1976's Master of Kung Fu Annual number 1, when Daniel enlisted Shang-Chi's help to rescue Colleen Wing. The two teamed up again in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 29, in which a villain attempted to force the two martial arts masters to fight to the death. Hired to retrieve a statue from the lawless city of Madripoor, the Heroes for Hire recruited Colleen Wing, Wolverine, Shen Kui, and Shang-Chi in 1998's Heroes for Hire number 18. Together, they successfully retrieved the statue and foiled a warlord's attempt to conquer China, though the private detective agency would disband after they returned to the US. Despite this adventure, Shang-Chi wouldn't actually meet Luke Cage until years later in 2006's Black Panther number 11, when the young martial arts master and Luke Cage helped save T'Challa from an arranged marriage to one of Shang-Chi's siblings. When his solo comic book series finally ended with issue number 125 in 1983, Shang-Chi began a long era in which his only appearances consisted of cameos and brief stints on superpowered teams. After working with the Heroes for Hire, Shang-Chi found his next superhero team alongside Daredevil. Though initially a simple branding initiative featuring Marvel's more street-level superheroes and adult-oriented stories, Marvel Knights eventually received its own self-titled ongoing series. It featured a team of heroes brought together by Daredevil in order to finally deal with the murderous vigilante known as the Punisher. Formed in 2000's Marvel Knights number 1, the initial team included Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and Dagger, though other heroes would later join or aid the team. And although Daredevil's team never received an official name, they continued to work together until the series' end, fighting a number of other threats even after they finished with the Punisher. Shang-Chi found his next team in the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes, though it took a couple of tries to get there.
Avengers!
His first encounter with the team took place in 2010's Secret Avengers series, when Steve Rogers' covert ops branch of the Avengers discovered that a group of villains known as the Shadow Council were attempting to resurrect Shang-Chi's villainous father. The former Captain America asked the Master of Kung Fu for help in defeating them. Rogers' team of secret Avengers included Sharon Carter, the Beast, Ant-Man, the Black Widow, Valkyrie, Moon Knight, and War Machine, and together they helped Shang-Chi discover that his father's real identity is Zheng Zhu, a powerful and immortal sorcerer. The Avengers ultimately defeated the Shadow Council and ensured that Zheng Zhu could not be resurrected. Shang-Chi officially joined the main Avengers team in 2013's Avengers #1. Feeling the need to reform the Avengers bigger and better than ever, Captain America and Iron Man recruited a large team of heroes that included Shang-Chi among its many members. Outfitted by Tony Stark with high-tech versions of traditional Chinese weaponry, the martial arts master would help the Avengers defeat such threats as the Garden, as well as both the Builders and Thanos during the 2013 event Infinity. When a group of aliens attempted to kidnap the people of Earth to create feeding colonies in Totally Awesome Hulk #16, FBI agent Jimmy Woo, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Jake O, Ms. Marvel, Amadeus Cho, Silk, and Shang-Chi joined forces to protect them. After they defeated the aliens, the 6 heroes decided to stay together as a team and officially adopted the name The Protectors. Then, after the Dark Elf, Malekith, invaded Earth during the 2019 War of the Realms event, Jimmy Woo convinced several of his Protectors teammates to join the Agents of Atlas. Formed in War of the Realms, the new Agents of Atlas #1 through 4, the Agents were a team of heroes who worked for the Atlas Foundation, a secret society based in Asia that Woo inherited and decided to use for the good of mankind. The team quickly received their own self-titled miniseries that ended in 2020 with Agents of Atlas #5. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Marvel Comics are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.